by way of your traditional one, your extra point. But on their first touchdown, it was a missed kick, putting them in that position to make a decision. They make it, but they don't get the 2, and they lose 13-12 to a team that completed 0 passes in the second half. Back in studio with the fellas, and I want to start right there with the decision. Jonathan Jones, game on the line. You're at home, rainy, ugly, sloppy one. You play 3 ugly quarters of football. You come to life in the 4th. You get the touchdown. The tie is right there, a kick away. You missed one prior, and you say, give me the 2.
Yeah, I'm okay with going for 2 there. They clearly had the play. I don't even want to use hindsight. Like, they had the play. Josh Allen very clearly missed his wide receiver there. But I'm okay with it because Josh Allen was banged up. He had that ankle. He came into the game with a foot. He got an ankle injury that he sustained during the game. And ever since then, he just didn't look right. Trying to roll out, he was releasing the ball a little early because he was afraid that the pass rush was going to get to him or that he couldn't evade it like he typically does. And so I don't want to continue this game in this weather against this defense when my quarterback and really the engine of this entire team is clearly hobbled. So I'm okay with 1 play from the 2 to end it in a playoff-like game and atmosphere. I'm okay with that.
I agree. You know, guys, for me, I'm always, firm on defense, winning games with the defense. But to your point, Josh clearly was hobbled. You don't want to put any more extra stress on that ankle because you have a playoff run you need to get ready for. You want him to be at his best. And going for 2 at that moment was the best possible thing to do, best decision to do. And like you said, the play was there. When you talked about the play, it looked like they was getting ready to format a sprint out to the right side, but basically it was a throwback with who was the receiver he was targeting?
Shaver.
Not Shaves. No, it was Shakir. It was Shakir. Yeah, there it is. And you see, as a defender, we see the flow in the backfield, so we're anticipating Shakir running across the football field, but he retreated and he was wide open. Josh just never got an opportunity to set his feet
because he was afraid to set his feet because he wasn't trusting his ankle.
Yeah, and there's only really one quarterback that can make really good passes like that, and that's Jordan Love, just throwing off the back foot like a fadeaway. And clearly that's something that, I'm sorry, but that's the truth. But Josh was trying to execute that type of fadeaway pass, and he one-hopped it and shots out to the Eagles because the Eagles, they were battle-tested, especially defensively. Yes. They kept their team afloat, and they came in with the much-needed plays to be able to win this ball game.
Does it just have too much of an air of desperation at home with the division essentially on the line?
No, I felt like it was the right call at that moment, just because you have Josh Allen. He's probably the best red zone quarterback, dual threat red zone quarterback in the league. He can throw the ball, he can run the ball in there. As we saw, he got tush push in there to hopefully put the game into overtime or putting them in position to go for 2. But I think that was the right decision to go for it. As JJ and Brian said, that they didn't want that game to go on any longer with their star player being injured.
Like you said, just because you have Josh Allen, and just because you have Josh Allen keeps you relevant in this playoff picture. They will not be a division champion. They will play lots of road football, and unless something crazy happens in terms of seeding in the postseason with higher-ranking teams being eliminated, we've got one more game at Orchard Park, that being Week 18. We're looking at a wild card participant here in the Buffalo Bills, and I'm not sure it's the team you want to see, but Allen's not right now, and if he's not right, they don't go. Something wasn't right in the second half for Jalen Hurts and the Philadelphia Eagles. Jonathan Jones, you pointed this out astutely in the midst of it. You said, I don't think they have any passing yards as this game was drawing to a close. For the second time this season, the Philadelphia Eagles win a game where they don't complete a pass in the second half. How?
I don't know. Like, 0 passing yards, really -2 because Jalen Hurts took a sack. I think they went 0 for 5 on 3rd down. They only had 16 yards, I think, of offense in the second half. Yeah, we see it right there. That's 1 yard per play.
It's nuts.
It's really hard. And look, there's been so much talk around the Eagles and the offense, and Kevin Patula, the offensive coordinator, and they've tried to make some tweaks, and Nick Sirianni has tried to be more involved during the week. I mean, the one thing that has given us hesitation with the Buffalo Bills before we're over here crowning them as Super Bowl participants and going to Santa Clara has been their run defense. You got 16 rushing yards against them? This is hard to understand. Congratulations to the Eagles. You should be very happy that you got this win, and a win is a win. But you can't feel good about anything else beyond just simply getting this win.
It's alarming, and you saw that graphic. Shouts out to our graphic team. This is their second time.
How?
And having
Week 4 Tampa.
Having 0 to negative net passing yards in the second half and still finding a way to win. So the bright spot is your defense. They're really, really good. Having Jalen Carter back today, his presence was felt from start to finish, not just in the running game, but in the pass rushing game as well. So their defense, all 3 levels, they got ballers. Right? They got some guys that can play football, especially in the secondary when you look at Quinyon Mitchell being a lockdown cornerback, and not to mention Cooper DeJean, and Epps was flying around, man. He was hitting people from start to finish. But the offense, I feel like with Philly, we've given them so much grace because they won the Super Bowl a year ago. Like, they're going to get it right. They're going to get it right. They're going to get it right. Well, the season is almost over. And the same concerns or conversations we had in late September, October, November, we're still having now. And January, football is right around the corner. So are we living in a world where their offense is just this, right?
Yeah.
It can't be. They have too many great players for this offense to be
That's the most confusing part, and that's why I feel like, because all of a sudden, Saquon Barkley, he did not forget how to play football. Devontae Smith did not forget how to get open. A.J. Brown, even though he's been more involved, he hasn't forgotten how to be a high-level wide receiver.
Dallas Goedert, underrated
Dallas
tight
Goedert,
end.
and he's been a great red zone presence for them. But outside of that, so you talk about the offensive line. Well, there are a lot of teams that have offensive line injuries, but they're still serviceable at least. I think it's more about Kevin Petula and his inability to get the most and the best out of the players. Look at what we saw last night, right? Malik Willis.
Yep.
Backup quarterback. They got injuries on the offensive line. They got injuries at the pass catching position, missing their best tight end in Tucker Kraft.
Running back, too.
Running back. Josh Jacobs wasn't at his best. But the mindset offensively of Matt LaFleur, he's still able to get more than serviceable production out of guys filling in for key starters. So you can't tell me that because of the injuries, now their offense has flatlined.
Okay, but hold on, B-Mac. And Pat, I got to ask you, how much of this is Jalen Hurts? Because we're sitting here watching, we're talking about Kevin Petula, we're talking about everybody else. Jalen Hurts was throwing the football and not completing passes.
And that was going to be my question. I don't believe Jalen Hurts is seeing the field the way he did last year. And maybe that is with play calling, because if you look at the play calling last year, there was a lot of RPO, there was a lot of play action, a lot of linebackers are getting sucked up into the line of scrimmage to where those intermediate passes are more open. When you look at Jalen Hurts this year, it's mainly take a deep shot down the sideline, play action, deep over. There's no flair in the offense. The running game is not there. Saquon Barkley is not able to run the ball as effectively as he was last year. Maybe that is the offensive line, or that may be the plays that's being called into the game that's not allowing Saquon Barkley to be able to flourish. But that also, going back to your point, Saquon Barkley did not forget how to play football.
No.
Kevin Petula has to do a better job of putting his players in position to be successful.
You know what I said earlier to Pat, and you guys were listening as well. I said one thing I know about good coaching, good coordinators, they adjust to the players. They don't make players adjust to their style, their scheme. And I'm not saying that's the case in Philly because I'm not in the building, but I'm just trying to figure out why they've been so bad.
Yeah.
If talent, like we just highlighted the Raiders and their inability to be productive on the offensive end. Well, they lack talent.
Yes.
We see that.
Level.
Simple.
Right, on every, it's simple. For Philly, they do not lack talent. Even with the offensive line injuries. We just saw the Chargers with Justin Herbert fight with both tackles.
Yeah.
I mean, they're on their third or fourth offensive tackle on both sides, and they're still more than serviceable. For Philly, this doesn't make any sense. And the biggest change from a